Okay, well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start by giving 5 minutes of an introduction to the company for people who don't know us, and then I'm going to talk about what we think are some fairly good developments that have happened over the last 2 years, which will really, we think, turbocharge this company for growth. Okay, Anglo has been operating in Azerbaijan for many years. It's very well established in the country. We're financially solid with decent cash reserves and have paid a regular dividend since 2018. Broadly, the company's been through 2 cycles of development since it started. The first cycle was from start-up, which was from 2005 to 2013, which was simple gold doré production at Gedabay by open pit mining and heap leaching. The second cycle started around 8 years ago when the company built its attestation leaching and flotation plants and started mining underground. Around this time we started to produce significant amounts of copper. The company has been through considerable hardship in the last 2 years, what with the COVID pandemic and the war between Azerbaijan and Armenia. We endured both drastic COVID lockdowns and martial law. Gedabay, our main production site, is less than 1 hour's drive from Ganja, the main town in western Azerbaijan, which received significant damage from Scud missile attacks. However, it really has been, I would say, the best and worst of times for the company, as during that period there have been some transformational developments which we all believe give us significant growth. These include a dramatic expansion of our mining concessions to include some significant copper resources, which we will open next year, and we've made our first investment outside of Azerbaijan. Here's just a very quick look at our capital structure. We've been listed on AIM since flotation in 2005. There's just over 140 million shares listed with a market cap of around £100 million. The capital structure is very clean. There's only ordinary shares in issue and an insignificant number of employee share options outstanding. The shares are very tightly held, with the directors, the Vaziri family and senior management holding in total around 45% of the shares. There have been no equity fundraising since flotation. There has been therefore no significant dilution of the shareholders, which we think is fairly unusual in the junior mining business. We've recently announced that we believe our shares are undervalued, and we will be getting a share buyback program put in place at our AGM later this month. Okay, this slide and the next are our board of directors and senior management. The company was founded by Reza Vaziri and Governor Sununu, who still serve on the board. Reza is a prominent businessman in Azerbaijan. He spends the majority of his time there and is very much a hands-on CEO. We've had many years of experience, and that's us as the senior management. Okay, just to talk a few words about our current operations. We have 6 concessions, which we call contract areas in Azerbaijan, with mining and production mostly at our Gedabay contract area. We mine from an open pit and underground and produce gold doré and copper concentrates through a wide range of processing methods. Gedabay is a very mature site and it has excellent infrastructure. Okay, just a little bit about our current performance. Last year we produced just under 65,000 gold equivalent ounces, and we ended the year with 38 million of cash and no debt. We've recently released our full year 2021 results, and we had a turnover of 92 million with a profit before tax of 13 million. And we will pay a total dividend for 2021 of 8 cents per year. Like many mining companies, we're experiencing significant cost inflation, and our all-in sustaining cost increased last year to $843 per ounce. However, we think this AISC is still fairly low for the industry. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to the company, and now to talk about some developments which have happened really by chance during the COVID-19 pandemic. which we think, as I say, are very good news. As I said, as I previously said, we were originally granted 6 contract areas in Azerbaijan, but historically 3 of these were not accessible as they were in territory under Armenian control. However, as a result of the resolution of the conflict with Armenia in late 2020, these 3 contract areas have now been restored to us. Secondly, last year the government of Azerbaijan agreed to grant us 3 new contract areas. This is still subject to ratification of Azerbaijan's parliament, which we think we will get shortly. And as part of this transaction, we agreed to relinquish Sutalai, which is one of the restored contract areas. And thirdly, last year we discovered a new deposit at Gedabek, Zafir. This is a new copper mine with production commencing in the second half of next year. Our exploration program is also delivering other good results. And finally, we've made our first investment outside of Azerbaijan, Librero, which is starting to look very promising. Taken together, we believe the company will look very different and a lot bigger in the next few years. Okay. As I said, 3 contract areas, which were part of our original contract in 1997, were situated in territory controlled by Armenia, and historically we had no access to them. However, they were restored in 2021, and as I said, one of these will be returned to the government. The 2 remaining restored contract areas are Vejnali in the Zanganan district of southwest Azerbaijan, and Kizil-Bulag in the former Nagorno-Karabakh, which is now known as Karabakh. Kizil-Bulag hosted the Merli copper molybdenum mining plant. This is a major copper mining operation by the Armenians, which has now been given to us at no cost. We're still waiting to get access to that site by the government as Russian peacekeepers are present in the location. Turning to Vejnali, we've now established an operation at the site. Last December, Vejnali produced just over 1,300 ounces of gold from processing just under 11,000 tonnes of stockpiled ore. The initial estimates are we can produce around 6,000 to 7,000 ounces of gold and 200 tonnes of copper this year from Vejnali. New underground equipment is arriving there shortly, and we expect to start mining from underground at Vejnali by the end of this month. Okay. I think, as I said, we were granted 3 new contract areas last year, and these 3 contract areas are the Merli, Kizil-Bulag, Harha and Garadak. And I think this slide is probably the most important slide in the deck. Following ratification, we will have over 2,500 square kilometres of land in Azerbaijan under concession, and to put that in context, this is almost 3% of the territory of Azerbaijan. I mean, this is a lot of very prospective land in the Tethyan belt. Our known total copper reserves under various standards, including Soviet and JORC, and our share of Librero, now amount to over 1 million tonnes of copper. So this is a very significant resource that we are sitting in. And we believe that in the next 3 to 5 years, our copper production could easily be around 50 to 55,000 tonnes per annum of copper. Okay, here's a slide about Garadak and Harha, which are 2 new concessions we're acquiring. As you can see, they infill the territory between Garadak and Gosha, which is another one of our original contract areas, the former contiguous territory of over 1,400 square kilometres. These are not greenfield exploration sites. Garadak was extensively explored by the Soviets and its subsequent owners, and we will receive all of that historic exploration data upon ratification. It hosts a significant copper porphyry resource containing almost 320,000 tonnes of copper as determined by the Soviets. And we think that once we acquire it, we will do an exploration program of around 12 to 18 months before we start developing the mine. I mean, this actually is something that we think is very significant because, we are very well established at Gedabek. It's where our main operation is. We know the area intimately, and we've actually now acquired, a porphyry copper resource literally on our doorstep. Okay. As well as the expansion of our concessions, next year we will commence mining from Zafir. This was a deposit found by our own exploration and is very close to our existing plant at Gedabet. We've just announced final mineral resources which show 28,000 tonnes of copper, 73,000 ounces of gold and 36 tonnes of zinc. We plan to develop the mine by opening a portal and then driving a decline. We're going to use our existing contractors to truck ore to the processing plant, and we will just modify our existing flotation plant so we don't need to do any heavy capital investment. We plan to mine around 1 million tonnes of ore per annum, which should produce around 10,000 ounces of gold, 4,000 tonnes of copper and 4,800 tonnes of zinc. And we're on plan to get this into production in the second half of next year. Okay, just a little bit about our current exploration activity. We've got an extensive exploration program ongoing. We now are not drilling at Zafir because the mineral resource has been completed, but we've still got one rig in that vicinity looking at trying to find extensions to the ore body. At Gosha, which we feel is underdeveloped, we have a small underground narrow vein mine, and we've been drilling around the mine from the surface, and we've actually found a new underground extension to that mine. We believe that we will start mining that by the end of this year. Right, and finally, last year we made our first investment outside of Azerbaijan. This is something that we had been talking about for many, many years, and finally we actually made this. Librero, headquartered in Vancouver, and are an exploration company quoted on the Toronto TSXV stock exchange, which is the Canadian equivalent of AIM. Librero owns various copper exploration projects in Canada, Colombia and Argentina. We acquired just under 20% of Librero in 2 transactions in December and January of last year. We've been talking to them for about 2 to 3 years about making an investment, and we knew them very well, so this wasn't something that we just suddenly jumped into. We believe Librero has a very undervalued portfolio of properties and a very solid management team. We've known Ian, who runs the company, for a very long time, and we also believe that Canada is a very good jurisdiction to do business in. And obviously the story of copper being in a long-term bull market through electrification is well known. It's obviously a fairly high risk reward investment, but given that we've only put $5 million into it, it's not like we've put the company at any financial risk through this investment. The main focus of Librero at the moment is Mojaca, which is one of the largest undeveloped copper resources in the world. It's in Colombia, alongside the border with Ecuador in the Putumayo region. This is an underdeveloped region. It was previously the centre of the cocaine cultivation industry in Colombia. Michael Sununu, who's one of our board directors, is now on the board of Librero. Farhan Majizi, our technical director, recently visited Colombia and their Argentinian project last month. Okay, and Librero have started a drill program at Mojaca, and assay results have been returned from the first drill hole, which are very good. Okay, so that really brings me to the end of my quick presentation of Anglo-Asian mining. We think that we're an extremely good company now, and we're at the start of another exciting phase of our development. And we are cash generative. We think we've got a lot of potential for growth. We've got the ability to fast-track mines, we've got an experienced team, low cost, strong balance sheet, and we're a reliable dividend payer. So, we think that ticks all the boxes for people who like to invest in copper and gold in the junior mining industry. A very quick presentation.